Today we are going to cover the iron game, and we're going to give you some very simple, effective tips to get effortless compression, consistency and ball striking you enjoy and can rely on. And of course, it's not rocket science. Let's find out how. The iron game, it's very important. Everyone loves to bomb drives and things like that, but if you can get consistent with your irons and at least get near the greens more often, you're going to be in a much better spot. And it's also fun. There's nothing sweeter, in my opinion, than getting that compression. And what I mean by the compression is the club face squeezing the golf ball, okay? Squeezing the golf ball into the turf to create that effect of de-lofting and flying off exactly where we want, more often than not. And we can do it by some key components, and we're going to cover them one by one. One is the wrist extension, second is swing path, third is getting through the ball and how to do it. All right, so let's cover the wrist extension first. The wrist extension is basically going to encourage us to squeeze that golf ball, okay? And what I mean by is it's giving that shaft lean. You've heard a lot about it, but it's very much a sort of tour level move, but everyone can do it. The thing is, a lot of people try and do it the wrong way. They hold on to that wrist just a little bit too long and end up sort of shoving it through because they've stalled the body. And that's why it's important to do the third part that we're going to go into. But we're going to sort of build this up a little bit, all right? The wrist extension is, in essence, if you can see from down the line here, in essence, we're trying to match, okay? We're trying to match the club face with our spine angle here. A lot of you think, okay, I slice or I come, you know, my shots fly to the right. It's actually because you've got the club face a little bit open. So if you find that as you swing down here, try just, and you notice the club sticking up with the toe up to the sky, just sort of let go of the grip and re-grip it just so that angle of the club face here matches my spine. And what this is going to do from here, it's going to make it much easier to move the club down and to create that shaft lean with the right wrist hinge, okay? Now, we get stuffed if we stall the body, like I said, and we also get stuffed if we come down too steep. So, but we're going to do this in building blocks. So I want you to practice just hinging the back of the right wrist a little bit more. Now, as I said, we don't want to be open and then manipulating it because you're just going to be too shut and stuck. Just try and get the position correct as you come back down. And from here, what happens is we move the body through, keeping and maintaining that angle with the right wrist. And you can see from over my shoulder here. So here's the feel that we're talking about. We want the back of the right wrist to have more hinge here, okay? And you'll see from down the line, but we want relationship for that to be coming down from a shallow angle of attack, but to be maintaining this angle throughout, okay? If we maintain that angle throughout, what we're going to do is actually compress the golf ball between the club face, the ball and the turf. And that's what really improves strikes and consistency. And we couple that with the other movements, we're going to be in a very good spot. So as we take it back, we're just holding on to that angle just a little bit longer. Now we still want to have fluid feel here, it still needs to be supple, but we're just aware of this angle. And then as we swing the arms out to the right, we're going to be in a good spot. So we want this shaft lean and we want the wrists to be slightly ahead, okay? We want those wrists to be slightly ahead, but we need everything to be moving through. So the drill I want you to actually practice at first, okay, is just tiny little shots like this with the wrist here. I'm just practicing that half little swing, almost chip shots there, okay, the little checkpoint, and maintain that angle, right? Just maintain that angle and see the kind of feel that you get from those tiny little shots. Now, you'll probably be doing something wrong when it comes to the through swing, and we'll get to that now. The next key I want you to do is the swing path. Now, it's going to be a little bit counterintuitive because you think you've got to swing down on the ball, right? But we want energy and momentum moving this way with the weight shifting, all right? We've got to be using the ground. And we are moving to the left. Our body is clearing out the way, but actually, to improve your striking, I would like you to feel from here that your hand path, okay, is actually going out to the right, just a little bit here. Okay, so it's along this line. It's going to feel like your hand path is going out to the right. Now, you're going to hit crappy shots if you don't turn the body around. And that's, you know, a good golfer's move. From here, the hands are going that way, but the body is actually pulling it back round. So we are rotating through. Okay, this is what gives us the speed and the angle of attack that we want. So, if you find that your divots are chopping to the left, if you find that you're flipping at it a little bit too much, work on the extension and feel like your hands are going to the right. If you're staying flat-footed, you're going to hit some skew-if shots. So we have to feel that upon transition at the back here, we're shallowing just a little bit because we don't want to be too steep. We do not want to be too steep here. We want to feel just a slight shallowing, feeling the weight of the club drop on the inside. But here's the thing, we have to keep turning with our lower body, right, to the left, and the hands going out to the right. That's the key, because that's going to keep it on the path to hit the straight shot with that compression. Otherwise, you're just going to end up sort of doing these kind of dumpy shots like that, where we're pushing out to the right and everything's stopping. But even with the same movement, and we turn to the left and complete our finish, and that's going to give you the compression. That's going to give you the squeezing effect. We now have to couple that with the main feeling that is real power, using the body mass, using the energy of the ground and the forces, and a key move that I think is going to transform how you feel about your iron swings and the results you get. So we've got those components. We've got the wrist, we've got the swing path, and we've got the rotation. But we don't want to screw it up by just early extending and lifting up and sort of rotating this way, because that's not going to squeeze the golf ball. That's not going to give us the compression and hit irons consistently that we want. So what move do we want? Well, actually, we can modify what a lot of the best players in the world do. And that is, from the top of the backswing, we are going to have a main feeling of shortening the gap from the shoulder to the knee here. We're actually going to feel like the belt buckle is going lower to the ground, like a laser to the ground here towards the ball. A lot of you might find that the laser sort of, or the point is coming up this way. And we can actually do a practice drill by putting the club in the belly and making a backswing turn here and down. Where is it pointing? Are you up here or are you pointing down towards the ball? And the feeling that does that is to shorten the distance from the shoulder to the knee as we come through. You see that? It's like my chest, my body is going down, my hips are kind of moving back to create this room. And what happens is, from there, I have to do something. I have to, from this loaded position, I have to pull back up, rotate, and finish high. What does this do? It puts the energy down and through and up. Down and through and up. And that's what you'll see the best golfers do. Exaggerating, it's down, through, and up. Okay? There's the compression. There's the power. And you think, I can't do that. I can't do that, athletically. It's a very short movement. And it can work with a short backswing. It can work if you haven't got great mobility. Because it's just this sensation of this shortening to here to transition down. And as we get to this position, this butt of the club actually gets pulled up this way. It gets pulled up as quickly as you can to clear out the way, because we don't need the energy staying down there. That's what a lot of you will do. So it's from this position, doesn't go any lower. We're not going lower and lower and forward. It actually gets higher, 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 higher as we come through, because that's how we're going to collect the ball at the low point afterwards. So we actually practice this with that half movement. Again, we get the wrist position here, all right? Then we shorten that distance. We swing out to the right and we rotate and finish high. And it's that movement that we want. That's going to give you the squeezing. That's going to give you the compression. So we try it. Some half swings, okay? Some half swings, lower and pulling through. Piecing all of those elements together, okay? Piecing all of those elements together to whip the club through, to get the accuracy that we want, to get that compression. But it is about movement. So piece those together. We've got lessons on each one of those components. There's just sort of a summary. But to recap, wrist extension, swing path out to the right, rotate to the left, and move everything down, lower, compress, and get out of the way. Get the belt buckle and the chest higher upon finish to get through, because that's the most important thing. We're not hitting at, we're getting through. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, but practice those half shots to begin with. Get the compression, get the feel that you want, and see the results happen quicker than you can imagine.